Have you ever been crushing it at your job, delivering amazing results, only to be told you need to be more visible? Yeah, if that sounds familiar, this is for you. We're going to talk about how quieter professionals can make a massive impact, even in a world that seems built for the loudest person in the room. So there it is. You're a high performer, you do deep, focused work, you hit your deadlines, and then, bam, in a performance review, you get this piece of feedback. It's so vague, it's frustrating, and honestly, it feels like all your actual contributions are just flying under the radar. So what is even going on here?
If that quote just hit you right in the gut, you are so not alone. It points to a really deep bias that's baked into a lot of modern workplaces. So today, we're going to unpack exactly why your quiet nature gets misread, and then we'll get into some powerful strategies to make your values seen and heard without you having to change who you are. First things first, we've got to understand what we're up against. This isn't just about your personality. It's a systemic thing that researchers actually have a name for. They call it the quiet penalty. So let's get some perspective. Introverts make up about half of the population. That is a massive pool of talent, of creativity, of careful, thoughtful work. So why is it that even though they make up half the workforce, their contributions are so often systematically undervalued? It just doesn't add up. And this isn't just a feeling, it has very real consequences. Decades of research show that even when the performance is objectively the same, quieter professionals are often seen as less warm and less competent. I mean, think about that. This bias directly impacts promotions, leadership opportunities, and frankly, your whole career path. So what is behind all this? Why does taking a thoughtful pause before you speak get interpreted as you not being engaged? Let's dig into the root causes of why being quiet gets so consistently misunderstood. You know, this term, coined by the brilliant Susan Cain, just nails it. It's this unspoken belief in our culture that the ideal person, and by extension, the ideal employee or leader, is someone who's outgoing, assertive, and totally comfortable being the center of attention. It ends up rewarding a certain personality type over actual character and substance. And here it is, the core of the problem. When you look through that extroverted lens, silence can seem unfriendly or like you're not interested. But for an introvert, that silence is essential. It's where the thinking happens. That lens mistakes someone's passionate, loud delivery for competence, when the reality is that true value is so often shown through quiet, deliberate, thoughtful action. This brings us to this really fascinating idea from research called the Babel Hypothesis. It basically says that in many Western cultures, we unconsciously connect the amount someone talks with how smart or competent they are. This is a huge disadvantage for people who prefer to, think before they speak, and it puts the quality of the idea in second place. Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem. Now for the good part, the solutions. And let me be really clear. This is not about faking extroversion or changing your personality. Nope. This is about developing new skills and strategies to make your natural strengths totally visible. So let's walk through 4 very specific research-backed things you can start trying literally tomorrow. Here they are. We're going to cover what to do in meetings, how to prep for performance reviews, ways to build relationships that don't drain you, and how to shape your own story online. All right, let's break these down one by one. First up, meetings. The goal isn't to talk the most, it's to make one clear, impactful contribution. So prepare ahead of time. Find that one strong point you want to make. Then, when you see an opening, you can use this simple little sequence. Acknowledge what someone else said, like, "That's a great point, Sarah." Then anchor your credibility based on the data I pulled, and then give your answer. And hey, don't be afraid to embrace that thoughtful pause before you speak. It actually signals confidence. All right, to fight back against that vague, be more visible feedback, you need data. You need receipts. So you're going to create an evidence log. It's just a private document where you track your wins using the SAR method. Describe the situation, the action you took, and the result it created. The real key here is not to save it all up for your review. Share these little wins proactively in updates or one-on-ones leading up to it. Building warmth does not have to mean hours of draining small talk. It's about showing genuine connection in low-energy ways. For instance, an emotional handshake is really just a genuine smile and a moment of focused eye contact. Or instead of asking a bunch of generic questions, ask one really thoughtful question that shows you're actually interested. And play to your strengths. Use writing for follow-ups, and show you're engaged by paraphrasing what other people say. It proves you're listening on a deeper level. Platforms like LinkedIn are actually perfect for introverts because they let you use your natural strength of reflection. Think of it as your quiet megaphone. Use it to share value, not just to shout about yourself. Post about a lesson you learned or your process for solving a problem. A consistent, thoughtful post just once a week can do amazing things to help you control your professional story and showcase your expertise on your own terms.
Now, let's be real. This isn't just on the individual. The company and the managers play a huge role in this. So if you're a leader, I've got a question for you. Are you accidentally measuring the volume in the room instead of the actual value being created?
So let's look at a few ways managers can shift their thinking to spot and really nurture that quiet talent on their teams. Because when you do, you unlock a ton of potential that's probably being overlooked. As a manager, you can start by redefining what engagement even looks like. It's not just about who talks the most. Look for the quiet influencers, the ones who prepare deeply or write with incredible clarity. Give your team distraction-free focus time. And a cool idea is to have team members create simple user manuals that explain how they work best. This helps you separate that temporary energy in the room from the real, long-term value a person adds. You can also redesign your meetings to be way more inclusive. Send out materials ahead of time so people can reflect. Start meetings with a few minutes of silent brainwriting, where everyone jots down ideas before anyone speaks. That levels the playing field. Set some ground rules so one or two voices don't dominate the whole conversation, and build in short breaks. These small tweaks will get you so many more good ideas from everyone. Okay, so let's bring all this home. If there is one single thing that you take away from this, please let it be this. Your thoughtfulness, your need to reflect, your preference for deep work, these are not weaknesses. They are absolute strengths that are operating in a system that often just fails to read them correctly. You are not broken. You don't need to be fixed. You don't need to become some other person. The goal here is just to expand your toolkit, to find strategies that let you be fully yourself while making sure your immense value gets the recognition it deserves. It's about navigating the environment, not changing your core. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Whether it's preparing that one clear contribution for a meeting, or sending a thoughtful follow-up email, or just documenting a recent win for yourself. What is one small step you can take this week to make one of your quiet strengths just a little more visible?